You know, maybe instead of asking, what would Jesus do? People should ask, what would I do if I were in hospice? A frequent guest of this show, who I always called my favorite congressman, was in hospice recently. Barney Frank died this month, but on the way out, he said, I want to use my unfortunate situation to say something that I think is very important. He said the key to liberal democracy being able to come back is to get rid of the perception that we have allowed to grow that the entire Democratic Party is committed to a series of very drastic social reconstructions that go beyond the politically acceptable. And there, in one sentence, is the autopsy the Democrats have been so desperately searching for. It sounds a lot like what Obama said after he left office. The average American doesn't think we have to completely tear down the system and remake it. They just don't want to see crazy stuff.
Bill Maher has dropped a huge criticism about the Democrats. And according to him, nothing he has said before even comes close to this level. The sharp-tongued comedian is going all in on his own political side, calling out what he sees as deep hypocrisy that is pushing supporters away and making people lose trust. Maher did not hold back all. It was intense, loud, and fully aggressive in tone. So hit that subscribe button, because this story is getting very heated.
New rule. The next time the Democrats need an autopsy, they have to hire an actual coroner, because he or she couldn't do worse than the gutless stiffs they have doing it now. You probably heard the party released their autopsy on the November 2024 loss last week, in May of 2026. Because the Democrats are like Don Corleone. They insist on hearing bad news immediately. Oh, nobody remembers the movie, huh? What a shame. What a shame. You ought to check it out. It's very good.
Maher starts by talking about the Democrats' recent report about why they lost the 2024 election. Right away, he feels something is wrong. This is a party that really wants to win power again, but they are only now releasing a detailed analysis that should have been done much earlier, around early 2025. That delay, in his view, says a lot. A serious political team should not still be trying to figure out what went wrong at this stage. Instead, they should already be fixing problems and moving forward. With the 2026 midterms coming closer and the 2028 presidential race not far behind, every delayed step means lost time. Maher argues that while time is running out, Democrats are still not moving fast enough.
Well, I've spent a good part of my life trying to get straight answers out of politicians. And I gotta tell you, while they're in office, you kind of have to trick them. This statement from the administration: the president had the constitutional authority to direct the use of military force because he could reasonably determine that such use of force was in the national interest. That's too vague for you?
Totally vague.
Okay, because that's from Obama. And he's one of the good ones. But you know when politicians get super honest? When they're retiring, or even better, dying. And especially when they're dying politically. If you're at 4% in the polls, oh, goodbye bullshit, hello bullworth.
That point becomes even stronger in Maher's next example. He recalls a moment where he pressured Adam Schiff during a discussion about a war in the Middle East, trying to get a clear and honest answer. Schiff avoided giving a direct response, shifting and dodging questions until he was pushed very hard. For Maher, this shows a bigger pattern in Democratic politics. He believes truth only comes out when politicians are under extreme pressure. He also points to the Biden cognitive decline controversy as another example, saying that warning signs were visible for a long time, but the party ignored them. Instead of facing reality early, they only reacted after the situation became public and unavoidable. In his view, this is not real leadership, but damage control after the fact.
Make you talk? We can't get you to shut up then. I see it here all the time. Politicians who are intransigent partisans or lackey water carriers, and then they're out of office, and it's read my book where I say all the things I should have said but didn't during my 500 years in office.
Maher then talks about how politicians often treat truth like something they control. He says many of them only speak honestly after they leave office. Once they retire, they suddenly release books and interviews filled with reveals, often sold for high prices. He calls this paid honesty, because they only speak freely when there are no political consequences left. According to him, if they truly had the courage to speak while in power, they would have done so when it mattered most. They had platforms, microphones, and public trust, but still stayed silent. He believes ambition, party loyalty, and fear of consequences often stop them from being honest. And when they finally speak up after retirement, he says it feels too late to matter.
You know, maybe instead of asking what would Jesus do, people should ask, what would I do if I were in hospice? A frequent guest of this show, who I always called my favorite congressman, was in hospice recently. Barney Frank died this month, but on the way out, he said, I want to use my unfortunate situation to say something that I think is very important. He said the key to liberal democracy being able to come back is to get rid of the perception that we have allowed to grow that the entire Democratic Party is committed to a series of very drastic social reconstructions that go beyond the politically acceptable. And there, in one sentence, is the autopsy the Democrats have been so desperately searching for.
Maher also argues that none of these problems are new. He says regular citizens and independent voices have been warning about them for years. In his view, Democrats did not lose the 2024 election because of some complicated mystery. Instead, he believes they went too far into woke political ideas that felt disconnected from normal people's everyday lives. Because of that, many policies and messages ended up sounding unrealistic or even laughable to ordinary voters. He says you don't need experts or long reports to understand this. The warning signs were already visible, but the party ignored them until election results made everything obvious. By then, it was too late to deny what had already happened.
It sounds a lot like what Obama said after he left office. The average American doesn't think we have to completely tear down the system and remake it. They just don't want to see crazy stuff. Is this really so hard a message for Democrats to say? There's a Democrat who's running for governor here in California now who's saying it, San Jose Mayor Maher. Yeah, because he's at 4% in the polls. Everybody has been calling me lately saying, you got to have this guy on. He's the sensible Democrat we've been looking for. To which I tell them, one, this is a national show. It's not all about you and your life in California. Two, how did you get this number? And three, what's his plan to get the leaf blowers to shut the fuck up in the morning?
Maher then makes a more critical point about politicians calling themselves moderates. He suggests that many of them are not truly changing their beliefs. Instead, he thinks they shift their language only when they are losing support. When election numbers go down, they suddenly start acting more moderate. But according to him, this is not real change. It is just strategy. And if political conditions improve again, he believes they would quickly return to their old positions. Meanwhile, he says the main Democratic leadership still strongly supports the same ideas that he believes caused voter frustration in the first place. In his view, this creates a situation where voters can easily tell when politicians are being genuine and when they are just acting.
But also, you're right, he does sound sensible. Because he's at 4%. That's when everybody's brave. If he got to 40%, would he still be saying, as he does say, we need Democratic leaders in California who are willing to say no to their friends? That would be the unions, the bureaucrats, the lawyers, the consultants, the regulators, and all the special interest friends who make living in this state such a frustrating, maddening experience.
Maher then uses California as an example of what he sees as serious political failure. He says the state is facing major problems like weak infrastructure, high living costs, homelessness, and many people and businesses leaving. In his opinion, these issues did not appear suddenly, but built up over many years. He blames a mix of strict taxes, heavy government rules, and poor administration. He also argues that many leaders avoid openly discussing these problems unless election pressure forces them to. Once elections get closer, he says politicians suddenly act like they notice everything at once. But by then, the damage has already been happening for a long time, and ignoring it only made things worse.
Democrats are still afraid of the mean girls who police their far-out fringe. Massachusetts Congressman Seth Moulton had a perfect score on LGBTQ issues from the Human Rights Campaign. But when he said, "I have 2 little girls. I don't want them getting run over on a playing field by a male or formerly male athlete," his own campaign manager quit. And the chair of the Salem Democratic City Committee, Liz Bratt, accused Moulton of being, quote, what is known as a cooperator in Nazi times. Yeah, I think the word you're looking for, moron, is collaborator. And I'm guessing everything you know about Nazi times comes from TikTok. But imagine that. A congressman merely stands up for the liberal principle, the one we do still call Title IX, that women get an equal shot in sports. And now it gets you labeled a Nazi.
Another point Maher raises is about pressure from the far left inside the Democratic Party. He says this group is very loud on social media and strongly pushes people to follow strict political opinions. According to him, even though they are not the majority of voters, they still have a strong influence because they are very active and vocal online. He argues that many politicians become afraid of criticism from this group, so they avoid saying what they really think. Instead, they change their language or stay silent to avoid backlash. In his view, this fear stops honest debate inside the party and creates a situation where leaders are more focused on avoiding controversy than solving real problems.
I'm sorry, Democratic women, but this is your party. You have a special responsibility to look tough. Senator Alyssa Slotkin seems to get that, and not just because of her service in Iraq and with the CIA, but because she says things like, Democrats need to fucking retake the flag. Democrats have to stop being weak and woke, she says. Good message. Because no one's holding women back anymore. In many ways, they're leaving men in the dust. Women are much less likely to be unemployed now, less likely to blow a month's pay on DraftKings.
Maher also challenges the Democratic Party's image as a strong supporter of women's rights and leadership. He says if the party truly believes in that identity, then it should also be willing to face criticism inside its own system. He encourages them to openly address internal disagreements and contradictions instead of ignoring them. In his view, real courage is not only about fighting opponents outside the party, but also about fixing problems within it. He believes that many voters are already noticing inconsistencies and are becoming frustrated. So his challenge is simple. If the party claims to stand for strong and fearless values, it should also show that strength internally, not just in public speeches.
Why the railroads don't get built, the potholes don't get filled, the homeless don't get housed, the kids don't learn. Did you know that a black 4th grader in Mississippi is 2.5 times as likely to be proficient in math and reading as one in California? Mississippi is kicking our ass in education, and for way less money. We're 37th in 4th grade reading, they're 9th.
Finally, Maher talks about the education system in California. He says that even though the state spends a huge amount of money on schools, student performance is still not improving. In some cases, he believes results are actually getting worse. He argues that focus on political and ideological topics has taken attention away from basic learning skills like reading and writing. Because of this, students in California are falling behind compared to students in other states. Maher finds it shocking that so much money is spent, yet results do not match expectations. In his view, this shows a deeper problem in how priorities are set in the education system.
I'll tell you why. Because you're allowed to build there. Because every 3rd person in Texas isn't someone whose job it is to make sure nothing gets done. Democrats, these are your issues. Education, race, the environment, and I say this with love. You're losing to the Waffle House car on the lawn state.
In the end, Maher says the Democratic Party originally focused on important issues like education, fairness, and the environment. These were supposed to be their strongest areas. But he argues that even in these areas, other states are now doing better in certain cases. He uses Texas as an example, saying it is achieving strong results in areas where Democrats usually claim leadership. He believes this is because some states focus more on practical results instead of political messaging. According to him, Democrats got distracted by social and ideological debates and lost focus on real-world performance. He says the party forgot the main goal of politics is to deliver results. And with that, the story ends here.